Okay, hi. So I didn't post last week because I was quite busy, and it was one of those weeks where I recorded some stuff while I was doing some stuff, and we'll see if that ever gets posted. That would require that I upload to my computer. I've not done that in months and months and months, so we'll see. Right. Okay. So I made a list of all the things I want to talk about. Starting with what Kate said about pets. I just hadn't thought about them having allergies. Of course, pets have allergies. That makes sense. They're animals. They're alive. Whoops. But that makes perfect sense, and that, yeah, I kind of figured they'd be impacted by the fires and the smoke and everything, but, yeah. Okay. Acupuncture, I have tried it exactly once because my friend is does Chinese medicine for a living and knows what she's doing. And I was sick one day or something, so she was doing it, and I have the habit of doing I don't know if you can hear that, but it cracks really badly. And so I did that, and I had a vasovagal what do you call that when you get really dizzy and lightheaded and faint? I didn't actually faint, but I felt it. My sister and my mom have a disorder with it, so that's why I call it vasovagal, and I have it a little bit, but not often. So that was my experience with acupuncture, but she's really good, so everybody else loves her and thinks she's great. So in general, I would say it's a positive, but I am not going to do it again because I just had such a bad experience. Okay, so what I was busy with. So last weekend, I went to Niagara Falls with my mom. We had originally planned to go to the beach between Virginia and Maryland, Chincoteague Island, where I vacationed when we were growing up. But because of Florence, we were a little bit afraid to go down there. So we didn't, and then we talked about going to St. Louis via the standby flights, via my sister, but canceled that because it seemed a little bit we weren't 100% sure what the timing would work out. So instead we were let's make the 8-hour drive up to Niagara Falls. And when we were 3 hours into the trip, we were hey, let's stop off at Cooperstown in the middle of the night, or at a hotel. And so the next morning we went to the Baseball Hall of Fame, which somehow I've never been to before, even though I'm a massive baseball fan, so that was perfect. And then Niagara Falls was gorgeous. I don't know if any of you have ever been. Somehow I doubt it, but it was glorious. So I recorded some things. I don't know if I'll ever post them. I had a really cool experience. It was my mom and I who went, so my mom and me who went. And I'm just really, really happy to have gone with her. I've shared a lot of experiences. So that brings me to yesterday, Yom Kippur. I am not Jewish, so I didn't care to do anything, but we had off. So my mom and I were hey, let's take a day trip to Atlanta. So we flew to Atlanta in the morning, went to a baseball game, a Cardinals game, hung out with my friend Jennifer, and flew back in the evening. And now I'm at work again. One day in Atlanta. It was perfect. It was exactly my kind of vacation. Very cheap, very easy, and I saw my Cardinals. And then the last thing I want to talk about, is the myth of effortless perfection, and the myth of I don't know, what you put on Facebook, only the good stuff, or on social media, or on the internet. And so it's I try not to post on Facebook too much. I've kind of been stepping back. I deleted the app off my phone. I only check it a couple times a day, maybe less a lot of the time if I haven't posted. And because it's I used to post a lot of the things I did, but it started to feel fake because it's not everything in my life is perfect. I traveled a lot this year. It was fantastic. But it started to feel the fake kind of showing off. I wish I could post about everything, but it started to feel weird. So now it's I posted once about my Niagara trip. I want to figure out one thing to post about Atlanta maybe, but it's just so weird that you make your life seem perfect, but it's really, really not. Nobody's life is perfect, and I know that, but you put out your best version of you on the internet, which almost feels like people are rubbing it in. I don't know. And then there was one more thing, but I didn't write it down. Had to do with Facebook. I don't know. Alright, that seems long enough. DFTBA, y'all. Love you. See you next week.